It is expected that depression and domestic violence will increase during this COVID-19 social distancing and isolation, especially within the minority communities in the US. In this week's Diaspora Life Show, we highlight how Miss Kenya USA contestant is making sure that that doesn't happen to her community, especially the youth in Kenya and also here in the US. She also speaks at length about her efforts to mobilize the youth during this the 2020 census that is going on in the US. Welcome to the show. It is a somber night in Tacoma, Washington State. Most residents of this beautiful city are observing the state's directive to remain indoors to allow the COVID-19 that is ravaging the world to pass through. Downstairs in this huge hotel, however, a minority groups conference called by the state to talk about the upcoming national census is wrapping up. And here, attracting most of the attention, is a young lady donning the Miss Kenya sash.
My name is Dorcas Karehu, and I was representing Miss Kenya, Washington. I was representing Kenya at Miss Africa Washington State pageant. That is one of the best pageant in Northwest. And my main reason why I have this crown actually, it's because I won few awards. That was for the best hairstyle that people chose me, and they were really very nice. And the second one is because I was the best in Miss Congeniality. So that's the reasons why I have the crown for now. Though I didn't win the major crown for the whole Africa, at least I represented Kenya and I got to win on our behalf of our young youths.
Ms. Dorcas, for the record, is not your usual typical eloquent, breathtaking, beautiful queen maybe most of you expect. But what this self-confident lady lacks in dazzling beauty and an American twang, she more than makes it up in her love and commitment to serving the community.
For the moment, I'm here in the census. I'm trying to represent the youths, also under the Wakurima, USA, and that's the main reason we are here actually gathered.
Everybody has been affected by the COVID-19 virus. And while the so-called celebrities across the world have taken to the internet trying to stay relevant in a very unfamiliar world to keep their brands going, this Kenyan-born lady is out there talking to young Kenyans in Seattle, Washington, to take part in the national census while minding the COVID-19.
It's a very, very nice feeling actually, because whenever you get to represent your country, many people always think that it's something that is so easy, but the process of you getting there and representing the whole country, it takes a lot of courage, belief, and you have to have a lot of confidence, because they do train you though, but if you don't have the passion and the courage that you can do it, I know you cannot. And the moment I was chosen after the casting was done and everything, and I was able to become one of them who are going to represent Kenya, most of them who are with them together, they did quit. They were like, no, I can't do it, because they thought it was something that you just have to do it, but you need to have passion and you need to have the love for people. You know, you have to be kind. So those are the main reasons that I feel like people, even if you're gonna do something, we really need to have confident people who are gonna be out there to speak up about something and about you. Like for me, my platform was all about depression, and that's why that was the thing that I was campaigning for. That's my project. Even now, this is my project. I'm still campaigning for it. I'm still fighting awareness to bring people together about depression.
There you have it. The smiles, the shoes, the hair. You got this, yeah? I tell you, it's great. Just because I can walk sana. So
we're gonna start with contestant number 1.
Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Miss Kenya USA 2018-2019. My name is Mary Mora. I'm a nurse by profession. Thank you. I come from Boston, Massachusetts, a beautiful city. depression awareness. It is so dear to my heart because I have been a victim and now I'm a survivor.
As Gloria McGarthy, the chair of Miss Kenya USA, would say, the pageant is not just about beauty without brains. It's more about one's commitment to serving the community.
What comes out of hosting this event is such a tremendous accomplishment for the girls that participate in it. Not only do we encourage them to be part of a organization that's based here in the US, championing a cause in Kenya, but we help them in building their network so that when they graduate from college, it's beneficial for them and it's also beneficial for the community that they'll be served.
And that is what this young lady has been doing this whole weekend and indeed the last few months since the census dates were announced. She's been reaching out to the Kenyan youth living in the greater Tacoma and Seattle areas to convince them to take part in the upcoming census. Understanding that young people in general and Kenyans in particular have been reluctant to participate in such initiatives in the past, Doricas also knows that more than ever, their participation this time around is very crucial.
The first thing I would like to address is census is very important to us. When we get counted, everybody will be able to get the privileges that everybody will, like any other people like whites get. But if we don't get counted as people of color, like Africans, Asians and all that, we won't be able to get the privileges and the allowances that the government give. So for us to have better schools, for us to have better houses and housing, we have to get counted. For us to have those free insurance from the hospitals, we have to get counted. Because if we don't get counted, we won't get enough funds from the government to cater for our problems. So I would like to advocate for all our youths and the households out there to get counted in this census 2020 because it really will help us as our community, as Kenyans, mostly because I know most of them, they do fear why we are getting counted and they really assume that we don't want to get counted because we have different issues going on or different other things that might affect. And I would like to tell them this census doesn't matter your color, your race, who you are, or your gender. It's what counts is who you really are. Do you want to get counted? Do you want to get the privileges? Do you want to get the allowances? Do you want to get free medical help? It's up to you, it's upon us to make you feel that you're comfortable to get counted. Yeah.
So I was like I said, I was reviewing the footage, and there's a lot that happened during the Seattle meeting. I'm Bukusu, so I don't know how to how to call it well, Seattle, but Seattle in my case. But the attendance was awesome. That was one of the largest groups that I've seen within the Kenyan, around the Kenyan functions. The contestants were very, very articulate, very well versed, very knowledgeable women. How did you get to this? How did you find all those beauties with brains?
Usually we usually put an SOS out, meaning we put flyers out on our social media pages, and that's the way we recruit the girls. And I have the opportunity to speak to every girl that applies to the pageant because I want to demystify the essence of pageantry itself, that the connotation that people have on pageantry. Pageantry is not just about modeling. You have to have a stance in the essence that you have to have a platform that you stand for, something that you're championing for, that will connect you to an organization in Kenya that you are able to benefit, not only in terms of growing in your network, but also making a difference in somebody's life in Kenya. And when we recruit the girls, it's more about, are you in college or have you graduated from college? We take the ages between 18 to 35 years old. We don't discriminate in terms of size, weight, or height. And also, we don't discriminate if you're a single mother or you're married, because we always feel like in pageantry, they always block women to actually exercise their right and stand for something. I am a late bloomer, as you see me here. I started my pageantry life at a very later age considered the ones that do sign up for pageantry currently.
More than any other time in American history, the immigrant communities are under a very serious threat from the current administration. But Dorcas' Outreach program does not stop with the census. Her platform during the Miss Kenya pageant was around depression, especially depression among young Kenyans living in the US.
We have 1.8 million people among our Kenyan people in Kenya or also in the USA. The last time I looked for the statistics was 1.8 million people. So that means that people who have depression, we have a very, very big number that we need to look out for. And they're increasing day and day, night and night. Everybody is suffering from depression. And that's why my major law was, I want this thing to quit. I need people to know that depression is real. And every time that we are trying to let people engage themselves with depression issues, we are trying to lose our community. We are trying to lose many people from Kenya. Like most of my Kenyans people, young people between the age of 14 to 28, those are the most high populated people who are suffering from depression. And I can assure you that's the main reason why most of us, we keep complaining, actually back in home, about why our young people are they are dying very young, but it's because they are getting depressed and they have no people who can tackle their problems or the people who can help them.
I decided to take that platform because I want to bring awareness to our people here in America and in Kenya and teach them more about depression. We can start a conversation together with me and you. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and honorable guests. My name is Malaika Kezia Kilanguchi, and I am a 23-year-old preschool teacher and early childhood education major, and I am representing the state known for Hollywood, California. Thank you. My platform is Street Children in Kenya. Did you know that street children make up the majority of homelessness in Kenya? This is why I chose my platform. And with you and me, we'll be able to get these children off the streets. Thank you.
Thank you. Ohoro Wanyu. My name is Njeri Karaoke from the Evergreen State of Washington. My platform is teenage mentorship with an emphasis on promoting the African culture and philanthropy.
This is something she talks about passionately.
One of them is drugs. When people engage in drugs and you cannot be able to quit the abuse of the drugs and addiction, you engage yourself in depression. And that's why most of the young people, because most of them are engaged in depression, they are not able to be able to control themselves. And that's one of the things that is major right now. And also engaging ourselves in bad relationships. Most of our young people, I really like advocating about young people because I know this is where the problem is. It's not more about the children, the kids, or the people who are older than us, but it's more of young people because we are losing more of our young people. We are losing them in the community, and that's why we are trying really to advocate for. We are trying to advocate for them and also for everything else to do with depression. So the other thing I would think that is a major problem about depression that causes depression is marriage. For people who are around the age of 28 to 35. if you get yourself in a bad marriage, you're always gonna get depressed. And that's the major thing. Though I don't advocate for people who are above that age, I try my best whenever I find someone having a problem. I try myself to find people who can go and try to help that person with a talk or any other beneficial way that they can help to help that person with their depression. So I feel like those are the major things that people we are suffering from, because most of them is drugs. And that's the thing that I feel like most of our young people, we need to advocate for them to really stop so that they can lower the number of depression increasing in our communities each and every day.
Experts expect depression among the general public to increase during this social distancing and isolation requirements following the outbreak of the coronavirus. It's expected to double in minority communities, among them Kenyans, because even in normal times, Kenyans never really acknowledge that they are suffering from depression, let alone seek help. That is why what Dorcas is doing in reaching out to her community may be a lone voice, but is commendable and should be encouraged because she may just be saving a lot of lives. Think about the platforms that the girls who are running on. Who chooses the platform? Is it the organization or they choose the platforms themselves?
Usually when a girl applies to the organization, the first thing I'll ask them is, what are you passionate about? What drives you? What makes you feel like you can make a change in somebody's life? It doesn't have to be a lot of people. Just one person is enough, because the one person you impact is going to be a ripple effect, because yourself, you're being taught how to impact this person in a positive manner. I myself started with the cause of development, and Paul Waithaka, he's currently in Kenya. He's the one that gave me the brilliant idea on running on the platform of supporting sustainable development through Vision 2030. So all the girls that actually participate in Miss Kenya USA are practically supporting my platform, which is supporting Vision 2030, irrespective of what platform they choose, be it education, be it development, be it sustainable issues for the country. That's what we're impacting.
There's been, again, there's an ongoing discussion around empowerment in terms of for those Kenyans living here in the US or UK, Canada, wherever they are, generally Kenyans living abroad. For over a period of time, there's been a lot of emphasis on Kenya, a place where most of them, the memory is just subliminal, to empowering them here where they live. To the extent that now people are arguing that as long as we don't tell and encourage young people to realize that this is their home, this is where they are, they need, apart from just taking part in activities that are taking place back in Kenya, they also need to get involved in the in the local communities where they live. Just see, for instance, if you're in, let's say, one of the counties, people need to get involved in their own counties. Is that something that you guys also encourage, or just the focus is just on Kenya?
Well, in my personal view, and I think it'll resonate to what the pageant is about, is that how you impact somebody personally will affect how they develop their community, be it locally or internationally, because you don't know what that person needs within their community, and that's what they're championing for. Like, for instance, I had a past participant who is championing bullying. In Kenya, we take bullying as it's like a rite of passage. That's what happens, but not realizing the impact that it has on somebody naturally and in their life as they grow. And she discovered that because she's been bullied and she's advocating for bullying right now, she's making a great difference. And that's the reason why, if we impact these kids who are in America, right now, they can transform to be better and greater individuals in Kenya with the insight that they learn right here. Yes, we as Kenyans have the capability of changing our own situation if we allow ourselves to learn from ourselves, not from others, but ourselves, because despite the cultural differences that we have here, we also have to adapt to the differences as well as import them and embrace them within our culture to make a difference within our community.
That wraps it up for us today, this week, and we hope that you enjoyed the show. Join us again next week as we bring you more stories from the diaspora. And please remember to keep social distancing and isolation so that we beat this coronavirus. See you again next week.